Cúd Millie Falcha, and welcome to the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024. I'm your host, author, actor and playwright, Kenny Boyle. I'm coming to you live from South Ayrshire in Bonnie, Scotland, and here it's about 1 in the afternoon just now. But for some of our nominees around the world, it'll be well past your dinner time or possibly well past your bedtime. So with that in mind, let us continue. We are here today to celebrate the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024, supported by Destination South Ayrshire and South Ayrshire Council. The awards began in 2002 and they recognise courage, commitment, inspiration and humanitarian efforts from people of any nationality, race, age or gender. All of our nominees, finalists and winners over the years are exceptional people, and we're very lucky to have some of our previous winners on the judging panel. The winner of this year's award will win not just the rights to call themselves the winner of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award 2024, but also the equivalent of 1,759 guineas, or about £1,800 in today's money. This symbolises the year of Robert Burns' birth, 1759, and also the currency that was in circulation at the time, guineas. As you have no doubt noticed, we are coming to you once again this year online, live streamed digitally straight into your living room, your tablet, your phone, wherever you happen to be watching this. This means that our nominees around the world can be here with us for this ceremony in real time. Now, to tell you a little bit more about the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards, allow me to introduce Deputy Provost of South Ayrshire Council, Councillor Mary Kilpatrick. Over to you, Councillor Mary Kilpatrick.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Councillor Mary Kilpatrick, and I'm Deputy Provost of South Ayrshire Council. And I have the great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2024 celebration of the legacy of our Bard, the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards. This year, our judging panel were inundated with nominations from all across the world. Therefore, our ceremony remains online once again to allow everyone the opportunity to be part of this occasion, celebrating the work of our humanitarians. 265 years ago to the day he was born, we remember Robbie and all that he believed in by celebrating the achievements of this year's finalists, Annie McLaughlin and Gail Penfold. What Burns stood for, more than anything else, was a passion for humanity and equality for all, and you will see that our finalists all have that trait in common. Collectively, all our nominees have stood up to help the vulnerable and those who may have lost hope. They have striven to alleviate suffering and to provide a brighter, safer, more peaceful future for all. Burns himself wrote, "Man's inhumanity to man makes countless thousands moan." And that's a sentiment I'm sure we can all recognise when we think of what some people have to endure on a daily basis. However, with humanitarians like Annie and Gail and the organisations they have created, we can take comfort in knowing that they are tackling that inhumanity day by day and bit by bit. The work that our finalists have done and continue to do transforms people's lives. Fellowship, putting others before themselves, making amends and demonstrating that there is hope. At the core of what they do is fellowship, putting others before themselves, making amends, and demonstrating that there is hope. They accomplished this by deciding to make a difference, and they have undoubtedly succeeded in doing so. And I'm incredibly privileged to be part of this ceremony, honouring their contributions. I wonder what Rabi's mum and dad would think of their son's enduring fame 265 years after he was born. Annie and Gail, to me you're both winners, and I'm just glad that I didn't have the difficult task faced by the judging panel of choosing between the nominations. You have demonstrated that regardless of who we are or where we are from, There is room for everyone in the world and that we all count. I have no doubt that everyone watching at home will be astounded to hear the details of your efforts and achievements and the truly inspirational stories we are about to hear. I am sure this will be a ceremony we will all remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mary Kilpatrick, for that heartwarming introduction. The road to the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024 has been a long one. We began this process in July of last year when we opened the submissions window. By the time we had closed the submissions window, we were astounded, not just by the quality of the nominees that we had received, but by the quantity. We have received more nominees this year than in any year since the awards began in 2002. 169 nominees were passed to our judging panel, who deliberated long and hard to get that list down to only 10 shortlisted nominees. From those 10 shortlisted nominees, 2 exceptional finalists were chosen. 2 from 169. With that in mind, I think it's time to hear from some of our judges. First of all, I would like to pass you over to Habib Malik. Habib has been with us as a judge since 2010 when he himself won the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards. He'll be introducing our first finalist for this year, Annie McLaughlin. Over to you, Habib Malik.
Hello, my name is Habib Malik and I'm an international humanitarian aid worker. Yes, I come from Glasgow, but I've worked in 35 plus countries from Afghanistan, Indonesia to Bangladesh, Lebanon, Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, Niger, Palestine, Australia, and so on. And I was given this highly prestigious award, the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award, which I won in 2010. The Robert Burns Humanitarian Award is a globally respected honor bestowed annually on a group or individual who shows selflessness and dedication in a bid to save, enrich, and improves the lives of others through the protection and promotion of human rights and work to deliver social reform. Annie McLaughlin was born in the Vineborough area of Irvine, Ayrshire, and has spent her whole life working for community projects, supporting the development of the area's young people and ensuring its senior population have access to warm social spaces where they can enjoy nutritious and affordable meals. Annie worked as an auxiliary nurse at Irvine Central Hospital for 40 years, working directly with elderly and dementia patients. Now retired from her NHS role and now age 77, Annie continues to focus all her time on the many community projects that she previously juggled alongside her NHS work. She's a chairperson of the Vineborough Community Association, which she helped found in 2005 after campaigning for 5 years for a community centre where the area's young people could access and attend sports and activities. The Vineborough Community Centre is a hub of activity with a drop-in cafe where anyone can access meals for £1. It is the food bank base and it hosts a number of regular classes including drama classes, summer holiday children's club, mental health groups, a youth group and over 50s group, movie nights and bingo. The centre is also an affordable space for social functions, weddings and funeral teas. Annie, who many fondly nicknamed the Roadrunner due to her always being on the go and looking after others, has also supported Alec Mullen, founder of the Irvine Wyneborough Boxing Club, for a number of years and acted as the club's treasurer. And she also fundraises to enable annual trips away to be organised for the local children. For many years, Annie also provided all the catering for the Wyneborough Community Centre drop-in cafe. Annie, a mum of two, has continually worked for the benefit of the community despite experiencing her own loss. Her 37-year-old daughter Angela died in 2013, and Annie has raised her 13-year-old granddaughter since. Shortly afterwards, her mum died, who she had cared for full-time for so many years. She has also cared for her disabled husband for many years. In 2015, Annie's other daughter, Louise, nominated her for a Daily Record Great Scot Award in recognition for her selfless volunteering for people within the Ayrshire, North Ayrshire town. An award in which she was a runner-up. Now, I am very sure you all want to hear from Annie herself. So over to you, Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie McLaughlin, 77 years young. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the people who have been nominated for this award, as you are all winners. My working life was 30 years with the NHS, looking after patients with dementia and psychiatric conditions. Along with looking after my husband and granddaughter, I had to care for my mum, who was in ill health. My husband had to retire at 59 years through ill health, and on top of that, we lost our daughter Angela, which meant I had to take on the role of bringing up Aileen. I have another two grandchildren, Graham and Tegan, and my daughter Louise, who I believe nominated me for this award. When retirement came, I continued to campaign and volunteer to allow our new community hub be built for our own community, the Wyneborough Centre. We won, and for the past 18 years, I have continued to run various events to fundraise for the people who attend our centre. I have also held the role of treasurer of our local boxing club, the Wyneborough Boxing Club, which has successfully went on to deliver Scottish and British titles. I will continue to campaign against the war on addiction and the suffering and grief that brings to many families, to be able to relieve poverty, and to continue my campaign for social justice is one I will continue to do. It has been so humbling to be announced a finalist for the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award, and would like to thank the panel involved for recognising my efforts.
Thank you very much, Habib Malik, and a big congratulations to our first finalist for this year, Annie McLaughlin. Now, our next judge is no stranger to Robert Burns, being, as she is, the operations manager of the Robert Burns Birthplace Museum in Alloway. Caroline Smith eats, sleeps and breathes Robert Burns every single day, and she is going to be introducing us to our second finalist for this year, Gail Penfold. Over to you, Caroline Smith.
Thanks, Kenny. Gail Penfold is a resident of Chingford, a large town in the London borough of Waltham Forest, and has been an avid volunteer, fundraiser and campaigner for the benefit of the whole community for nearly 50 years. Gail began volunteering as a child, frequently visiting care homes, singing and putting on shows, providing music and comedy entertainment free of charge to those in need. At the age of 18, she was an active serving ranking officer within the Metropolitan Special Constabulary, a position she held for many years and is the recipient of a Faithful Service Medal and 2 commendations. She's also volunteered with mental health patients and as an ambulance driver, providing excursions for mental health clients. In her role as chair of the local community association, she helps people with a whole range of tasks, such as completing application forms for benefits, support with debt management and budgeting, helping with funeral arrangements and bereavement support, as well as sourcing items like school uniforms. She links in with the Citizens Advice Bureau, Shelter, and Christians Against Poverty to ensure people in need are signposted to the correct service. She arranges free community events for everybody to enjoy. But it's not just humans that are touched by Gail's generosity. She helped found Waltham Forest Pet Food Bank, regularly organising collections of gifted pet food and the distribution of it to pet owners who are struggling financially. She also advises other pet food banks nationally and volunteers at 2 locations to ensure those in need do not have to rehome established pets. Recently, Gail has been involved in campaigns to retain a palliative care centre at Whipps Cross Hospital and has organised silent fun fairs for autistic children, which have now become an annual free event. During the pandemic, with her husband, she collected and distributed food, COVID tests, Christmas hampers and PPE, even designing and producing face masks with the help of local sewing groups for those needing to lip read. In Christmas 2022, she also arranged a free Christmas dinner for anyone who would be alone or would struggle to buy food. She organises day trips for those who do not have the finances to pay for a holiday. And during the King's coronation, she organised a community event to celebrate, including live music, children's entertainment, arts and crafts activities, and drinks and snacks. Gail's volunteering was rewarded by being named as one of the top 10 Queen's Platinum Champions for Crisis and Welfare. The past year alone has found her supporting locals who have experienced suicidal thoughts in moments of crisis and arranged immediate help for them, reunited 23 lost pets to their owners, and she helped establish the Pet Food Bank and sourced and delivered much-needed items of furniture to 28 households in need. Gail also chairs Penryn Surgery East 17 Patient Participation Group, where she inspired and set up the first GP-led gardening welfare group. This model has since expanded London-wide. All of this is done voluntarily. Gail is a champion for those in need, for those disadvantaged or with disabilities. And this is why Gail Penfold is a worthy finalist of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award 2024.
Greetings everyone, my name is Gail and I send a message of peace and goodwill to you wherever you are in the world. I live in the London Borough of Waltham Forest, situated in North East London, in England. To learn that not only had I been nominated, but reached the final 10 was a wonderful surprise. And to be selected as a finalist is quite surreal. It took a while to sink in. I am truly humbled to be considered for such a prestigious global award. For me, 2024 marks 50 years of volunteering in many roles through organisations including the National Health and Metropolitan Police Services and helping others as an individual. I am known for my kindness, integrity, being innovative and speaking up when change is needed. I don't regard what I do as special or needing recognition because I believe anyone can do what I do. I just try to make positive differences to individuals and communities, both locally and further afield, provide new experiences and bring a little bit of joy or comfort where I can. I aim to inspire others and helped to set up other volunteering groups when asked. When someone comes to me for help, I just offer to do my best, no matter who they are or what the topic. Everything I do is done on goodwill, and no 2 days or weeks are the same. I can be knee-deep in water during local flooding, attending court for residents under threat of repossession or eviction, sourcing furniture and other essentials for those in need, completing forms and paperwork relating to benefits and debt assistance due to the current cost of living crisis, delivering shopping, visiting patients in hospital, assisting the bereaved, and giving advice are just some examples. I also organise free trips and events such as a silent fun fair for people with autism and those who would find the queues, noise and flashing lights far too overwhelming to participate normally. On behalf of everyone nominated, a huge thank you to those who took time to nominate us, and congratulations to the other 9 nominees shortlisted. You are all wonderful people.
Thank you so much, Caroline Smith. Always a pleasure to hear from you. And congratulations to our second finalist this year, Gail Penfold. What can I say? What incredible stories of humanitarian efforts from both of our finalists. You are both, to my mind, already winners. I'd like to take this opportunity once again to thank Habib Malik, Caroline Smith, and all of the judges on the panel this year. Without your continued commitment and dedication, these awards would not be possible. So thank you once more. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce Leader of South Ayrshire Council, Councillor Martin Dowie. Over to you, Councillor Dowie.
Hi there, I'm Councillor Martin Dowie, Leader of South Ayrshire Council, and I'm also privileged to be the Chair of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards judging panel. I feel it's important that we continue to recognise the efforts of the humanitarian work being carried out worldwide. As already mentioned, our ceremony today remains online to allow anyone, anywhere to join us to show our appreciation for the work and hear who's been awarded the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024. I do hope the incredible stories you have just heard of humanity, equality and inclusion have all helped bring the bard back to life in this very special ceremony. What the ceremony and the Humanitarian Award itself tell us about Burns's legacy is well and truly alive today. Some 265 years after his birth, his work is still influencing people right across the world. His contribution to our heritage, culture and society is one that can we learn from. As he famously said, "A man's a man for all that." I believe that we should adopt that sentiment so that everyone can enjoy the same freedoms, opportunities, rights and life chances. However, thanks to people like our Humanitarian Awards finalists, Annie McLaughlin and Gail Penfold, we know there are people working tirelessly to turn that dream into reality. And it's these efforts that the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards recognises and celebrates, the efforts of people who go out of their way to change lives for the better. I hope you will all agree that our finalists, once again, this year are terrific examples of that. In addition, I want to emphasise a point that Kenny mentioned earlier. The judges had an incredibly difficult challenge of deliberating over the nominations. 10 made the shortlist, and every one of them deserves this title. Whilst our finalists were shortlisted for efforts in very different fields, they all share a very common thread in that they took a stand and made a difference. And that's what makes this award so important. It recognises the legacy that Burns left the world, not just in his words and music, but in the values and beliefs of humanity, equality and inclusion. My thanks firstly go to my fellow judges for all their input to the judging process. This year we had an overwhelming number of nominations submitted, which resulted in 169 individuals, so it has been a significant job to reach our 2 finalists. This certainly was not an easy task to do when faced with multiple stories of bravery, strength, humanity and compassion. My thanks go to our judges, John Murtagh, Jane Brown, Caroline Smith and Habib Malik, for their insight, input and guidance. I hope you don't mind, however, I also had a few more words of thanks before we get to the news I'm sure you all want to hear. I would also like to thank our South Ayrshire Council events team who organised and coordinated all aspects of the award process. Thanks go to our colleagues in the NTS and the Gaiety Theatre for their continued support. I must also thank Jennifer Harper, whose contribution to the award is invaluable. Thanks to our talented compere, Kenny Boyle, and AMD Studios for their support, advice, creativity on this year's ceremony. Of course, our award is only as good as the nominees and the stories that they tell. So a massive thanks to our nominees and those who nominated them. And finally, my thanks to everyone watching this year's ceremony online and showing your support for the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards. We are very proud to be the birthplace of Burns in South Ayrshire. So all that remains for me to do is pass you back to Kenny, who will announce the winner of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Councillor Martin Dowie, and thank you for chairing the judging panel. Not an easy task, I'm sure. Now, this year has been a bittersweet one for the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards. On one hand, we're hearing about the incredible humanitarian efforts of our nominees. On the other, this year saw the passing of Robert Burns legend, John Kearney. One of our judges, John Murtagh, Burns enthusiast and actor, has sent us a tribute to John Kearney, which he asked me to read for you now. John Murtagh writes, "You are no doubt aware of the sad passing of John Kearney, actor, writer, director, painter. But he perhaps will be and should be equally recognised as an individual who promoted and preserved the great tradition and achievements of our national bard, Robert Burns. At a time when the works of Burns were not readily promoted except by our dedicated band of Burnsians, John, with the performance of There Was a Man, created a fresh wave of interest and enthusiasm, not just among dedicated followers of Burns, but to a whole section of Scottish society and artists who hitherto had consigned him to the Museum of History. John inspired a new generation through his glowing interpretation of Burns' poetry, music and song. In addition to this, he served as a judge for many years on the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards, where his wit, knowledge and humanity helped make the wisest of choices. Thank you very much to John Murtagh for that fitting tribute to Robert Burns legend, John Kearney. You've just seen the gift that we have for John Kearney's family. We'll be getting that to you after this broadcast. Now, I could listen to the incredible humanitarian efforts of all of our nominees and finalists all day long. They truly are inspirational. But we are here in order to announce the winner of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024. And so, without any further ado, the moment you have been waiting for. The The winner of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards 2024 is Gail Penfold.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I'm absolutely overwhelmed to be chosen and delighted to be the 23rd recipient of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award. Annie, you truly care about your community, and to help you continue this vocation, you will shortly receive a small token of my appreciation. I wish you a long and healthy life. I am so lucky to have the most amazing husband and son who support me. Street representatives who help with my Residents' Community Association, and the Penryn Surgery staff and patient participation group members. To Stadium Place Tenants Residents Association and everyone who helps me at events. To everyone who donates items that help me to help others, a heartfelt thank you for your kindness and support. The items I give away for free to those in need are either donated or purchased. Thank you to every council, company, organisation and individual donor for your trust and generosity. A special thank you to the judges, today's compere Kenny Boyle, to Heather and everyone involved in the Robert Burns Humanitarian Awards. I know only too well the dedication and efforts involved. I hope that tonight, Burns Night, that every nominee across the world takes time to celebrate their own achievements. Volunteers and humanitarians throughout the world inspire others. Everyone watching can make a positive difference to someone else. Whether the occasional good deed, such as collecting a prescription for an ill neighbour, giving sound, factual advice in response to a post on social media, or volunteering for an organisation. And remember, kind words and a smile cost nothing. Wishing you all an amazing Burns night. Thank you.
Gail Penfold, the winner of the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award 2024. Wherever you are in the world, everyone, please a round of applause for Gail. Let this be a round of applause that circles the globe. And keep that applause going for our other finalist, Annie McLaughlin. All that's left for me to say is thank you. Thank you to all of our nominees, to our finalist, to our winner. Thank you to all of the judges. And thank you to everyone working on the Robert Burns Humanitarian Award behind the scenes. Without everyone doing their part, these awards would not be possible. And finally, thank you to you, the viewer, wherever you happen to be. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and goodbye. Let us raise a cup of kindness, as the bard would say, and say, Slanji va, Moharchin. Oiki va agus marshin leave. Cúd milli tang. See you next year.